Kay Randall-May here, and I'm working on case .0.011. And
I'd recommend you turning your phone landscape. I put it landscape because I'm going to upload this to YouTube. So
this is the case where you gave me the coordinates of 34.108.551 and 118.345179. And I have the questions here, and I can do it in two ways. I can begin by answering the questions about the event, and then go to the person, because I read for the person. I prepared.
What we'll do is, if we get to anything that's interesting, we'll stop chat. I'll keep an eye on the comments, see if you've got any questions, and if you anything you want to ask, and then I'll pause it and stuff like that, right?
In reading for the person on January 26th, and then also again on February 20th, both of those in 2017, which gives us two different peeks into the person. But I would like to give you my impression about the event.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Repeat back to me slowly the coordinates.
The coordinates that you gave me were 34.108.551, and there would be a minus 118.345179. That's what's here.
Minus 118.345.
179.
So, let me repeat. 34.108.551.
Correct.
Second was minus 3118.
No. 118.345179.
Please tap that screen, guys. It really does help the video, and give it shares out to as many people as you can. We want more eyes on this. Like I said, this will be just going straight up to my YouTube instead of just doing a video on it. I'm just going to watch it live with you lot, see if there's anything interesting. Apparently, there's interesting things on this. Apparently, it is a real legitimate phone call that happened between Kit Green and Cay Randall-May. Let's listen to it together. Let's see what truth potentially we'll learn from this.
Got it. All right. And you said that the readings on the person were done on what the dates again? You said
January 26th.
Yeah.
2017, and February the 20th, 2017. I did reading on the person that day and then today, and didn't look back to that day, when I did this one, just to give an update, because we've been working on this for a while. I just wanted to see what was going on.
What about the coordinates? When did you do the coordinate reading?
January 26th.
26 was, okay, and the coordinates and the person on the 26th.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And on the 20th, on February 20th.
All I did was the person.
Got it. Okay, now, what you suggested, I think you wanted to do is look at the coordinates or report out in the coordinates first.
What I want to do is, you said key example questions about the event.
Yeah.
Okay, and I wanted to go through that, if you don't mind.
Good. I like that. That's the way I would like to think.
So you said what occurred. That was your first question.
So just to keep people interested, obviously, because you might not know what's going on here and stuff like this, is a remote viewing session of things about coordinates of underground bases, stuff like that. Kit Green gives this woman a 95% accuracy on what she gives on information that he's already aware of to be true. 95%. So what we're about to hear now, apparently 95% of it is bob on accurate. So let's go for it.
And I put down, first I went into a deep altered state and, just wrote out my impressions. There is a fourth dimensional portal in this area, in the area of the coordinates. It's very near to the site. And the portal, which is a portal between dimensions, is related to an underwater base near the Catalina Island off the coast of Southern California. And on that date and time, a craft landed with occupants. I would say landed, I would say appeared in this dimension.
Hold. want to make sure I write down the base, underwater base was near Catalina Island.
Catalina Island, Catalina Island.
And the next thing you said,
Off the coast of Southern California.
okay. And then the next word you said was,
Okay, on that date and time of the event,
okay.
a craft, I say landed, but I would say it appeared in this dimension to land, with occupants which were partly extraterrestrial and a few humans as well. So there were.
And a few humans. Okay, go ahead.
Some aboard the craft were human. Okay, that's where there's a clarification here. This is part.
Let me just go back a bit there because this is the part where he went silent.
Next thing you said,
off the coast of Southern California.
okay. And then the next word you said was,
Okay, on that date and time of the event,
okay.
a craft, I say landed, but I would say it appeared.
He whatever she said then resonated with him because he went quiet. He was like, okay, maybe this is closer to home. I don't know, but that's people in California. You must be very interested in this.
In this dimension to land, with occupants which were partly extraterrestrial and a few humans as well. So there were.
And a few humans. Okay, go ahead.
Some aboard the craft were human. Okay, that's where there's a clarification here. This is part, or this particular event is part of ongoing education of influential humans about preparation for a future potential event.
Right, I am going to keep pausing and going back to things that I just want to just listen over again because, again, it's researching it and we were all working on this together, so...
And a few humans. Okay, go ahead.
Some aboard the craft were human. Okay, that's where there's a clarification here. This is part, or this particular event is part of ongoing education of influential humans about preparation for a future potential event.
This is weird. Do you know what's weird? That the slow disclosure thing and the movement in the UFO world where it started to get quite busy, quite active was 2017. 2016, 2017. That's when you started to see Lou Elizondo coming on the scene, but a lot more. All these videos started to get pushed out there, the gimbal and all that. Very interesting how around this time, and now we're getting this.
The future potential event is a geologic destabilization in the area.
Please tap that screen, guys. You can use 5 fingers. Do this on your screen. Do this on your screen. You get 10 hits at a time. 4 hits, sorry.
I'll tell you more about it in a minute, but I'm going down and answering your questions. The second question you posed was how long was the event occurrence? The event took more than 2 hours, but the witness's memory is partially blocked, and the witness does not remember the entire event. precipitated the event? That's your question. That's the third question. Oh no, excuse me. The third was, what was the cause of what occurred? And my response is, there was a planned meeting between high-ranking civilian and military personnel and the others, the watchers, the extraterrestrials, to give directions concerning...
The watchers, did you hear that? The others, the watchers. Is that what they call themselves? Is that why they're the watchers? They're here on planet Earth watching us all time for whatever event, future event. Wow, we're only 7 minutes in and I've seen quite a few wows already in the comments. Let's take it for what it is. This is a leaked phone call. The voice matches Kit Green. The voice matches Cay Randall-May. If you've ever seen or watched any of their stuff before, which I have, this is very fucking interesting. I don't know about you.
Geologic stabilization.
All right, high-ranking military
And civilian personnel. And the others. The watchers. The ETs.
All right.
What precipitated the event? I mean, what would be the basic... That's the fourth question on your email. Certain underwater, offshore, and onshore tectonic plate movements or potential movements.
If you can't hear it, turn your phone landscape. There's subtitles there. It is going to be one of them where it's going to be uploaded to my YouTube channel straight after we've watched it live here. So whatever we're doing here live, this is going to be saved and uploaded straight to my YouTube channel. So you will be able to watch over it and go through it all again. The subtitles are there if you put your screen on. Very easy to read. Tectonic plate movements, what potential movement. It's catching all the audio. So you need to make sure that you've got it on landscape if you want to see it best. Don't have it on portrait, you're going to miss things.
Inspired the meeting. And I feel that I don't want to go too fast for you.
That's all right, I'll stop you.
Maybe put some earphones in as well if you've got some.
I'll say hold.
I feel that the tectonic plate movements were catalyzed by oil drilling and other incursions into the tectonic plate area by humans.
Wow, so she's saying these oil drillings and stuff like that are causing these earthquakes, and these other people, these other beings, whatever they are causing this as well.
What was the purpose of the event? That's your next question.
Oil drilling and other incursions
by humans into the tectonic.
So the oil drilling and other things, all the other incursions, it's doing things to the tectonic plates, and it's obviously affecting where these watchers, the beings, the others are living, and their bases and stuff. So we're probably causing some significant harm. Interesting.
Plate, the rather sensitive tectonic plate regions, in other words, parts of the tectonic interface there up and down the California coast. They're like locking points. They're like trigger points. Now, I put together the next one, which is 5 and 6. Your 5 was, what was the purpose of the event, and then what was the agency of action?
I don't remember saying that.
Okay, but this is all, I'm just reading from your email.
Read for me.
Okay.
5, you're taking 5 plus 6 together.
Right, wow.
And tell me what you got by
okay. The agency of action was a council of 3 to 5 alien species whose mission it is to protect and preserve the offshore base, that is that base down there near Catalina Island off the Southern California coast, and to monitor the activity of humans in that area. So there's an agency of action, which is literally a communication network between these alien species. There are 3 to 5 of these alien species.
All right, now, that's the agency of action. What was number 5?
Number 5 is number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is the purpose of the event? And I've already told you the purpose, what precipitated the purpose. And then the agency of action. I just put the agency of action together with the purpose. It was a warning by this group of ET species. And then I'm going to go on to tell you the cause.
Okay.
The cause of the warning is destabilization of plate tectonics in the area by human offshore oil drilling and other activities which destabilize the plates. And then I'll tell you more about the target. Your next question is to the target. I've got a lot more about the target, so I'll tell you about the target in a few minutes. But the reason, the person that we're talking about, the actual target. But here is what I have to say about the reason that it happened to this person.
So someone's just asked, someone's just come in, I'm a little late. So yeah, so Kit Green is a CIA scientist and Dr. Christopher Kit Green and a remote viewer called Cay Randall-May, and they're viewing it through somebody, but she's given a 95% hit rate of accuracy by Kit Green. So Kit Green or other people know what's going on, and they've given her a 95% hit accuracy on this, and I've not heard the full tape, so that's why I can't give you a full explanation on it. I'm listening to it for the first time with you. But what you've missed so far is saying these tectonic plates, these oil drillings are causing problems where these alien species are. There's a treaty with these aliens, it looks like, where they're looking after these bases and keeping us in check and things like that. What else have they said? They've said something else. Put it in the comments what she's missed, because I can't remember myself. I'll watch through this again myself, but it will be uploaded to my YouTube, so you will get to listen to it all. So let's get back to it.
This is case number .011. The target is vocal and an excellent communicator. It was believed by the others, the watchers, the ETs, that he would be able to effectively communicate the warning to others. Now, I'm going to tell you more about the target in a few minutes. I'll go deeply into about the target, if you wish, to separate that from this. But I'm just saying, what I'm feeling is that this target was deliberately chosen for his potential to help achieve the purpose of the council. I'm going to call the agency of action as council. In other words, he was chosen for his potential to do that. And here's a larger pattern. This all fits into a much larger pattern. And information, telepathically.
Are you saying spots? S-P-O-T-S?
No, to play spots. T-H-O-U-G-H-T-S. Spots. Ideas.
Thoughts, good. Thoughts, what are the other two things?
Insights, which would mean like understanding, and information into the minds of people who are able and are willing and capable of spreading this throughout humans. The disclosure of alien presence will take place this way. In other words, by reaching what could be called a critical mass or a critical number of individuals who are compelled and they may not understand why they're compelled, but they feel they are compelled to take certain actions, primarily protect the environment, make sure natural resources are protected.
So I wonder if this is connected to people that do all these, what she called that, what's that young girl called? The one that everybody takes a piss out of, the Swedish one, where they do all these environmental protests and stuff like that, whether they are just compelled to do this because of things being put in their mind and downloaded to them and stuff like Greta Thunberg, whatever she's called. Maybe there's something to this where people are being compelled to do this to try and they can't come out and tell us for whatever reason, so they're trying to put it into human brains to get humans to do the work for them, because obviously we're not ready for disclosure yet to find out there's other species, the Watchers and all that. Interesting.
Prevent nuclear annihilation, that kind of thing. But they're going to feel they're compelled to do this, and they may not totally understand why. So the disclosure of alien presence will take place this way, and many contactees, such as this person, will be recruited or activated to share their information at the right moment. Okay? So there are many individuals who are in the population now who have been contacted like this individual, maybe not as dramatically, not in an event per se that could be pinpointed. Many of them will not or do not have conscious memories. If you talk to them, they probably wouldn't even say they believe in ETs, but they will be compelled to protect the environment, propelled to essentially protect the planet or protect those parts of the planet which also are, should we say, important to the ETs as well. And I feel in this...
How interesting is this after the interview that I had with Patrick Jackson, the Sphere Network? How interesting is that now when you listen to things like this? Very interesting. I think we need to get Patrick Jackson on and maybe listen to it with him.
Case, there is this specific base, and this base seems to be under the ocean. It is partly what we would call in this dimension and partly in a slightly different dimension, but it is definitely a physical presence where it is. I would like to tell you something about this patient, this person.
Okay, hold on. You want to tell me about
the person of case 011.
All right.
I feel this is a fully human individual. In other words, I don't feel this person is a hybrid who has been monitored and abducted, but not in such a way that it was so traumatic that, it overwhelmed everything, since early childhood. This individual has been followed, essentially, in development, has been selected, and tissue samples may have been taken, especially early in childhood, may actually have a scar on his body from early childhood.
Wow, for all you experienced out there that have reached out to me over the years, the last couple of years, telling me you've had these experiences as children and stuff like that, you feel something special about you and stuff like that. I hope you're paying attention.
That he can't account for, but he's not a hybrid, okay? But has been chosen because of his ability to communicate. I feel that this person is either a film producer or an activist or a very vocal person, very energetic. But what's really interesting is between last month, January 26th and February 20th, his throat area has really been ratcheted down. So I feel he feels blocked right now. And I got the sense that, quote unquote, these are the words that came to me.
Thank you, Jay.
Something I usually use, running scared. I feel he's running scared, quote unquote, right now. Feels like a message of great importance is being repeated to him. He wants to get it out to the public in a film or other means. There's a sense of urgency. I would say this person is a contactee, and not necessarily a hybrid, as I mentioned, but was chosen because of talents, innate abilities, or some connection.
Thank you for the nice comments, saying, yeah, I appreciate it. I don't know if you noticed the last few videos, I've gone back to my roots, going back to the woo-woo, going back to the stuff that made me a legend on this app a couple of years ago, and I sort of stayed away from it, but now I'm back to it.
He has something, this is seen to be a person who has the potential for being heard somehow by the greater population. And very intuitive, but has a lot of anxiety about, it's more like free-floating anxiety. Like something's going to happen and feels like that something is going to happen pretty soon. So I did get something unusual today as opposed to last time. I feel he's not feeling as well physically today, February 20th, 2017, as he did January 26th, 2017. Because today what I picked up was he may be experiencing some rather unusual autoimmune issues from stress, especially stress activated. This may include some demyelinization in the peripheral, at the very base of the peripheral motor nerves of the lower spine. Because I get a sense that he may have some tingling or even numbness, perhaps even some neuropathies of some sort from the lower body. Doesn't seem to be up in the upper body, but seems to be in the lower, and it seems to be coming from L3, L4, L5.
That's the thing, we do not know who she's talking about. So after I've listened to it, I am going to try and find out who she's talking about. Nobody knows, but whoever it is, she's got a 95% hit rate on it. So obviously somebody knows the truth. They're asking her what she knows. She's hitting it, fucking nailing it by the sounds of it. So I'm just fascinated. What do y'all think? Like in the comments, like let me know in the comments. What do you think so far? So they're saying that they're causing problems for these underground bases. They're causing potential earthquakes with the tectonic plates, drilling into them tectonic plates. Treaties have been sorted out. It's just insane what's being said here. And the way she calls them the Watchers as well is very interesting. Religious people will be all over that, won't they? And I understand why, because I've read the Book of Enoch, the Watchers, the fallen angels. The Watchers aren't good people, all right? Am I right? Are the Watchers not good at all? Are they the castaways, the ones that were cast away? Oh, have I got that wrong? Let me know in the comments.
5 down to the sacrum. Now,
right, hold on. They're fallen angels. All right, so the fallen angels are the bad ones. The Watchers are the good ones. Okay, I'm with you. So the Watchers are the ones that are watching over us, and they're good. So what are the Watchers then? Are they sent by God? Are they to watch over us and stuff like that? Right, I'm getting confused. Like one person, right? Bella, Watchers are good, right? So Watchers are good. Watchers are good guys, right? So, and then you've got the fallen angels are the bad guys. They're the ones cast away underground, right? Building collapsed today in Manchester, saying they felt a straight earthquake. But yes, I've seen that. Yeah, it's insane that. Guardians, yeah, Watchers are good. Right, okay, let's carry on.
L3, 4, 5, and down the sacrum showed up before on January 26th as being somewhat tight and blocked. But today it's showing up as possibly having some demyelinization near the root basis. You know how how the motor nerves come out of that area, go down into the lower part of the body. Also today, there's something going on with some stress in his right shoulder, but that didn't show up before. He does have tension up in the upper part of his back, thoracic 2 to thoracic 6, but today the right shoulder showed up. That could be just an incidental.
Yeah, this is the thing, because someone just said there in the comments, nuclear weapons, they're worried about nuclear. That's true. And they're saying that's why some of the nuclear weapons tests have never happened since '92. Like, I think Russia, US, and UK haven't done a nuclear test since 1992 was the last one. I think that was maybe in Russia or something like that. And they're all underwater in the submarines. So if these things are underwater, they can just disable them. There's that famous story of the missile, and something came up like a black mass, took the missile and just fucked off with it back under the ocean. And if you watch the Project Blue Book series, it ends on a cliffhanger where Dr. Hynek falls into the ocean, or gets taken into the ocean on a submarine or something, and he sees underwater UFOs, and that's it. They didn't make another series after that. It's like, maybe that was the answer. They're underwater. Maybe that's exactly how they wanted to end it. So it's very interesting. I've always been for at least 5 years, I've always come into the conclusion that it's ultra-terrestrials more than extraterrestrials. It makes more sense to me. Makes far more sense. And if they've got the technology, they could create some staged event if there was working with humans to make it look like they was coming from far away. But again, it's what purpose is that? What's the reason for that?
But for some reason, his throat area is really closed down today, and his thyroid seems a little low. Whereas last time it was really open. I mean, in January 26th, it was really open. So something is going on. It's probably more than just having a sore throat. I feel he's feeling like he has this message to share or something, and he can't get it out. He's not sure he can get it out. I asked who might be the agency, what species. I did get the short grays coming from Zeta Reticuli. Also the Arcturians, multidimensional, and some from the Pleiades. So there are more than one species, the short grays being from Zeta Reticuli being one of the predominant ones. And these are species which are not, they are benevolent in the sense that they have, okay, I have more about them, okay, on the back here. The others are the Watchers, are representatives of what's called the Supreme Council of Elders. Okay, I'm going to stop this first audio file. Here we go, now we're recording to get the message out, not so much about the event, but about to protect the stability of the region. I feel it is to be honored.
Okay, well, that's very interesting. I guess what I'd like to do is ask you, not now, but when you have a chance, go back to the event, which you described in some detail, okay? And focus on him physically during the event. And see if you were to observe him during the event, if you were to be a little mouse, shoulder, where do you see, if you see, anything in terms of his immediate surround? By that I mean, let's say, not what he's looking out at, not what he is moving to or doing, but what is it, where is what kind of an environment is he in during the event, and what kind of observations, if you were to be like a foot away, 2 feet away, 3 feet away, 4 feet away, essentially in his surround. What, if anything?
Yeah, you're right. It was his partner. You're right. Yeah, it was his partner. But interesting. I've just seen people in the comments saying who Robbie Williams and things like Tom DeLonge. It's like they don't know who did they know who it is, but it's like they're trying to get information. That's what they're trying to do, gather information on who this person is. Because they obviously know that it's true, and they're probably wanting to find out who this fucker is. By the way, the person that leaked this tape apparently was the person that was being remote viewed. And Kit Green wasn't happy. So it's very interesting. And again, if I've got anything wrong here, it's because I've not listened to it all. But from what I'm aware, the person that leaked this tape was the person that was being remote viewed. And the person that's not happy with it is Kit Green. It's very interesting. And if I've got anything wrong, I will do a video and I will update people on things I've got wrong. But as far as I'm aware, what I've said there is accurate.
Would you see?
Okay, I'll do that.
As you look at him, okay?
Okay, and I'll do that sometime in the next few days.
Tap that screen,
And
guys.
I'll email you and say I have that information, and then you can talk to me about it at your convenience whenever you would like. Yeah, that helps. Because there's such a lot, and the questions are so large. This helps me to know where you want me to focus, and I will do that.
Where did you get the internet from? It was released 2 days ago. I have seen Kit Green stuff. I've seen Cay Randall-May stuff. Go and watch their stuff. You can see the voices match up 100%. I believe it to be a real leaked phone call. It's been pushed out there as being a real legitimate leaked phone call. But I understand why you think it's fake, but that's where you miss things. If I thought for 1 minute this was fake, I wouldn't be doing a live on it and going through the full 45-minute audio. Let's put it that way. I'm very hard to please. This pleases me. This pleases me immensely. This goes well with my gin.
Well, that's a minor thing, because you've been giving me information about some extremely interesting things concerning exactly what the questions were that I gave. The questions that I gave you are answered very well.
Where can you listen to the entire video? Here. I'm playing it now, and it will be uploaded to my YouTube channel. I will put the link in the description to the original poster of it in the YouTube description for everybody if they want to go and listen to it that way. But the audio is exactly the same. The audio is not just bad because I'm streaming it live. The audio is quite terrible on the actual thing because I'm watching it as well with you lot. So it's not me. It's the audio on the thing. It's a phone call, remember, so it's not going to be the best quality. But there is subtitles there, and if you put your phone to the side, there is no reason why you cannot read it because it is capturing every piece of the audio. So I don't know why people are struggling. Just please turn your phone to the side and look at the subtitles. It's there for you. Or put some earphones in. In fact, put some earphones in. Stop moaning. Get yourself a beer, put some earphones in. Do you understand me? Put some earphones in. Fed up of repeating myself to people. Come on, it's 2025.
I'm really grateful because you focused on exactly the language of my questions, and I gave you the answers. And they were very specific about very sort of...
No, Kit Green is not the remote viewer. It's Cay Randall-May that's the remote viewer. But she's remote viewing someone else. And that's what I think. We don't know who the target is. That's the mystery. There's been guesses and stuff like that. Like I said, I'll do a separate video to this. But this at the minute is just going to be uploaded to my YouTube. And then we'll do after videos on this.
Space information. And what I just asked you now is to look at the corporeal states of his physiognomy, body. So, I appreciate, by the way, the information concerning his neurological state, because because I'd be meeting and examining him for the next 3 days.
That's of high concern to me. High concern to me because it's such a difference. His state, because it's so different between January 26th and today. So.
Well, I should find out.
Yeah, find out because he's under a lot more stress. The other thing I was going to ask you, if there is such a base, do you want me to look at it?
I guess at the moment.
Yeah, just listen to it. That's what I'm going to say to you. It's only had 3,000 views, the actual audio on the original poster, so it's not been seen by many people. So I was lucky to come across it.
I feel a little bit like that, Jay, that I do when you give me information about categories of medical data that I don't have expertise in, and I'm very frequently saying, don't bother telling me about chakras because I don't even know what a chakra is.
Okay, but I mean, I could draw you a schematic if you're interested. So if you ever find yourself interested in
I guess the question in my mind about that is it's a really good point, and it kind of leads into the next part of our discussion. I'm not the expert in assessing the value of that category of information. I don't know anything about architecture. I don't know anything about dimensional characterizations of military facilities that I don't have access to. I don't know anything about detail that would come from that, so it would have no meaning for me. But, and this is the key point, it kind of gets to our next part of the question. Others in my confederation with whom I'm working are expert at those things, just like they are not expert in allopathic medicine.
Right.
So my focus with you on the dozen cases we have been the clinical medical issues for which I can get or for which I already have personal examination of the patients or access to brain scans and access to blood tests and access to internal medical and neurological data. And so I tend to stay away from having you give me information that has little meaning. Now, having said that, here's the departure point, and we're now finished with 001 and into the other subject. Our sponsor and myself and Hal and George are extremely impressed at the granularity of your reporting on the clinical medical data of the individuals. For example, I'll just give you the most recent. On a number of cases, not every single one of our dozen, but on a number of the cases, I have transcribed the factual medical information and given them to the individuals and asked them to tell me what they think. And in almost every case, they basically say that individual, meaning you, knows me very well. And most importantly, a recent one of the patients was a physician. And one of the patients was a sub-cabinet level officer. And both of them said to me, I gave them essentially a written document that took only the theoretical statements that you asserted that were medical, that were factual, based on science, not symptoms, but based on science, clinical medical science. And they both went through them and found that 95% of your statements were correct. And the others they could not determine.
That's insane. So I was right. So 95% of her statements were correct in what she's saying. The other 5% they could not determine. So she could be 100% right. They just couldn't determine that other 5%. That's insane.
So that's pretty impressive. That's better than a physician does when he puts together all his medical data. That's better than an analyst.
You can see why I'm certified by the American Board of Scientific Medical Intuition.
So what was that? American Board of... Never even heard of that.
You can see why I'm certified by the American Board of Scientific Medical.
So the American Board of Scientific Medical Intuition.
I can certainly see that.
There are only
Never
two
even
of
heard
us
of
who are Carolyn Message.
So,
So there's only two people that are... Only two... Who's the other person? I want to know.
that is related to a second overlapping part of the Venn diagram. So first we've got the reportage of the reasons for the individual patients I've given you, writ large, having certain physical and neurological characteristics. I mean, and this is quite good. I mean, you even described, for example, in one patient, just kind of at the end of the discussion, that the individual had a pond that was significantly larger than the average pond. That's a pretty abstruse thing to say. That's a pretty odd thing to say. That's a pretty strange thing to report. That's a pretty weird thing. But I happen to have that individual's brain scan. And so I measured the pods, and I measured 100 controls. And you were right. I mean, the pods of that particular individual is 100% larger than the average for age, sex,
What's he on about? The pods or the ponds? I don't know if the translation's right there. Is he saying the pods? Can someone help me in the comments there? Larger than average pods. Hi, happy to see you live again. Well, thank you, Alicia. Pods. Yeah, he's saying pods, isn't he? What does he mean by the pods? What does he mean larger pods? What's he referring to here? Pods part of the brain. So he did. Yeah, I thought he said brain. Yeah, he got the translation wrong, didn't it? So what's he trying to refer to there? I can only guess. It's something in the brain modules. Right, okay. So they're saying that this person had larger than average pods in his brain for age, sex.
match group of individuals. I mean, there's not very many people that even care about the ponds of the brain.
There's not even people that care about the ponds of the brain. So he's saying ponds, it looks like, but I didn't even know there was anything in the brain called ponds. So yeah, I've just learnt something. Ponds, not pods. Ponds, right? Okay, I've not even heard of that. I don't even know what that is. I'll have to look at what that means.
So, I mean, that kind of thing all put together is from a piece of the Venn diagram that has to do with the accuracy of clinical, neurological, and cognitive data, which is the other piece of what you described with that. And also, I must say, some of the spinal...
Someone Google me what pons actually is in the brain, and I'll stop it and read the comment out. Thank you.
column defects that you pointed to, which one of the two individuals, in fact, has been very interesting. The encircling second part of the Venn diagram is what is of interest to our sponsor. And it relates to...
This is the internet for you. So I've said, tell me, and you put bar, brainstem, it's reals, third eye. 3 people have got 3 different answers. I want a proper answer, people. It relays into the brain. It's below the third eye. Right, okay, so it's around here, right between your forehead. A bulbous structure on the brain stem. Right, okay. I'll have to look into that. I've never heard of that before. I've heard of the third eye, but I've never heard of pons. No dude at the back. So is that the back? The pons is a crucial part of the brainstem, acts as a bridge between the cerebrum and the cerebella. Literally at the top of your spine column. Oh, okay. Interesting. Thank you for that, Louise.
to the experiment which I shared that we have discussed, which is the possibility of a simultaneous functional brain scan between you and that facility in Phoenix and this individual's facility, possibly in either Western Europe, probably in London, or in Tel Aviv. And you've already stated that you would be willing to be a subject in the experiment for an attempt for an ineffable contact communication in the time and state, precisely with Geller.
My only concern is that I want I'm trusting you explicitly in that I don't want anything to be implanted, any ideas implanted in my mind by that. You know what I mean?
Well, let me tell you where we are.
Right.
It kind of gets to the departure point of this conversation, Kate.
Right.
I told you that I feel confident about certain pieces of data, and I do not feel confident about other pieces of data. Now, if there was to be a point-to-point communication attempt, I can tell you three things about that experiment. Number one, about 1/3 of that, I'm the only expert on Earth because of the functional MRI connectivity systems of what parts of the brain are related to other parts of the brain for communication and quantum telepathy. The second thing is the software associated with the calculations and the manner in which the scan sequences would be done at two different locations. So where the technical people doing the scan sequencing with the radio frequencies used for MRI in both locations were coordinated and using the same Haley-Arc coordinates for looking at the brain simultaneously.
Right.
That's a very rich, very interesting, very complicated, very mature, and very, very...
Yeah, explaining the GATE program. Mary Mattingly needs to be helped and healthy. She's an amazing artist. So, what I'm taking from this is we have a lot that we don't know about ourselves, and it looks like it's us that possess an ability to be able to do things here. It seems, or certain people are being wakened up. Some people are being abducted, maybe being given things, and they're being woken up to be able to do things that the average human being can't do. This is very fucking interesting. It's very interesting.
Very, very advanced software, and each one of those experiments is done.
Let's listen to that. So, I'm a remote viewer. I've been part of the gateway process Monroe. Would you want to be interviewed? Have you got a story to tell? Do you want me to interview you privately and stuff like that? Let me just stop that. Woo-woo stuff. It is woo-woo stuff, and I'm going back to the woo-woo stuff. Thank you.
Welcome.
So sorry, I was just getting my drink. Using machines to interpret quantum communication from a human brain. You can go to a point or locate, but you are seeing multiple options. How long have you been a remote viewer for? And like I said, is there a story you can tell? Do you think, is there an interview there? You're just an everyday person that has this skill. Do you want me to interview you? That's what I'd like to do. I'd like to speak to you. We can do it privately, and then I can share it everywhere. And if you have got a story to tell, I'm the person to come and tell it to, because I'm honest and I want to know the truth, and you can trust me.
Individually, so there is a second group of people, one of whom is a PhD engineer neuroscientist who works for Hal and George at Hal's Institute. He would be in charge of that. Not,
I'll inbox you. You inbox me, just in case I forget your name. I'll add you.
Third part of this sort of a communication gets to the questions
I've followed you.
Hal is the world expert in, which has to do with the interpretation of data that comes from verbal reportage of individuals doing remote viewing. And he is expert in.
Do you think this is Hal Put-Off? Louise, are you accurate? Well, I'll find out. I'm going to speak to Louise. Louise, don't speak to anybody else but me. I'm the one you can trust. I'm the one that had the balls to ask you. Right. Hal Put-Off's interesting. That's an interesting shout-out, you know. Any other remote viewers want to... Yeah, write down his... Yeah. It's interesting.
That, not me.
So we've got just less than 10 minutes left of this. So it's 45 minutes in total. Like I said, I've not listened to it. This is the first time listening to it. I will watch it back. But this entire thing will be uploaded to my YouTube tonight. By probably 10 o'clock tonight. So people can go and watch it and stuff like that. Like I said, it's only been seen by 3,000 people on the original poster of this, which was 2 days ago, which is insane. More people need to see this.
He's done thousands of cases. I've done 0. And he would be the individual responsible for that. So what the issue is that the sponsor's interested in is tying that all together. And the sponsor is interested in one dimension of that experiment, and I'm interested in the second, Hal's interested in the third, and here the dimensions are. I'm interested in the dimension of showing that quantum connectivity between two proven, competent telepaths can be measured with simultaneity in terms of the portions of the brain that are activated. That is now possible to do. I don't do the math, but I know how to determine what portions of the midbrain connected to the caudate and the putamen connected to the prefrontal cortex and connected to the part of the brain that does imaging is all related to each other. That's something that right now is a very, very rich area of my world of MRI. Hal is the expert in knowing how to design the experiment. And the sponsor is interested in having an experiment designed where the thing that you do and the thing that Uri does happen to be identical to each other. Okay? Both you and Uri have asserted, and in your case, you have, in my judgment, proof. In Uri's case, I can't say that the connectivities that you get for the acquisition of information includes the others.
Oh, yes.
Okay, now, our sponsor is interested in the last.
Yeah, I know he is.
Hal is interested in the former. I'm interested in the neurology.
Did he just say Hal is interested on H? That was interesting. I'm sure he said Hal. Let's go back to that. Listen carefully.
Is interested in the last.
Yeah, I know he is.
Hal is interested in the former.
I'm sure is that. I don't think that says Hal. I think he's saying Hal is interested in the former.
I'm interested.
I heard that right? People have got earphones in. Let me know. I've got earphones. Why don't I ever use fucking earphones? I'm gonna have to get. I'm gonna have to start using and plugging it in that.
In the neurology.
Right.
and the genetics. Okay, so what the sponsor has done within the very recent past is said he would like to have us do that. And so I have, as you know, have put out feelers to Uri. And there's good news and there's bad news. And I don't know where it's going to work, but that's just because we're dealing with Uri.
Right.
With you, there's only good news, but with Uri, there's good news and bad news. Good news is Uri is very interested. The bad news is Uri is very interested in publicity.
Can you hear me still?
And he has been informed by my interlocutor to him in Tel Aviv that ain't going to happen. There will be no manner of anything public about such an experiment.
Right.
Can you still hear me? I'm not used to using headphones. Yeah, you can hear me. Right, okay.
No, zero.
Right.
No.
I
Having said
think that has to be.
one of the members of the team
Didn't realise how sexy my voice was.
is a senior author of a book or two, actually, about Uri, and is a senior editor of the Financial Times of London. And we would agree that he and only he would have the right of second refusal, with ours having first refusal to anything that such an experimental design and results might portend. For example, if the experiment were to end up being scientifically pristine, the data were to show quantum pseudolocation between two purely, absolutely pristine experimental MRI scanners, we would not say that information could not be part of scientific literature
Right.
with the appropriate protection of sources.
Right.
And we won't say that Uri would never, ever, ever, ever be allowed to say, I was the person in that journal article, subject number V.
Right.
Okay? But he couldn't do it ahead of time.
Right.
Now, he may say, no. If I can't be in control, if I can't have the right of total, my own people present, my own cameras present, my own recording people present, I can't go on TV and say, look what these guys did and what they discovered, then it's not going to happen. Then what we're going to do is find another person than Uri.
Yeah.
And we have several candidates. Now, I won't do that, but I got a feeling that one of them, to be honest with you,
Yeah, is he saying Murray?
just between you and me, one of them may be subject 011.
Okay.
Because it seems to me that there's a certain coalescence of what you said.
Can someone explain what 011 mean? That just takes me straight to Stranger Things 11. Are we looking at something that's the under upside down world here? Yes, Matt. He said two names. So what were the names? I'm sure he said Hal, and it wasn't Hal. Sounded like he said Murray. And he said it reminds me of 011. What's 011 mean? Binary code in it. Yeah, it's interesting. It takes you to Stranger Things, doesn't it? There's apparently there's elements of truth. That's like a gate program. The people one had a number. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me that they're known as numbers. Like I said, Stranger Things. People have said there's elements of truth to what's in those on that TV series. Hal and Murray. We need to find out who Murray is. I don't know who Murray is. I think we can guess if it's Hal. It's got to be Hal Putoff, right?
And I got to now ask you a couple questions just so I can write down the answers.
But here's
Right,
my
I'm trying to ask you
concern.
something. Sorry, I do apologise. I'm just listening to this and trying. I've missed bits of it, so I'm gonna have to re-listen to it. But The important thing is just letting you hear it, getting used to hear it, and then sharing it out there. And all I ask you to do is when I upload it to my YouTube, please go over to my YouTube, like, comment, share it, get eyes on it. That's all I ask. Right, ask me your question then. Before we've only got literally. Let me play this actually for 2 minutes. There's only 2 minutes left.
Excuse me, kid. That's a silly bird we've got in the back that just gives us emotions. My husband just walked in front of it. You can see him. Here is the deal. Years ago, when I was in the presence of Billy, and he was on the stage, and I was just in the audience, I had very distinct psychokinetic reaction to him. I told you, the ring on my finger bent and broke. I am concerned for my well-being if I am simultaneously linked to this person.
I do apologise. What did she just say that? So she is scared for her well-being if I'm simultaneously linked to this person, Billy. What? Her ring bent. Let's just play that little bit again. So, like I said, there's only a minute left. Let's just play this last little bit again.
Told you, the ring on my finger bent and broke. I am concerned for my well-being if I am simultaneously linked to this person. So that is my only concern. I do not understand what that link may be. I don't think we need to understand. But I personally, and that's the only time that ever happened to me, although I've had a lot of psychokinetic effect around me in my life, but I've never had a ring then.
Psychokinetic, that's where you can move things, right? Is that similar to like Stranger Things? They have this psychokinetic ability where you're standing there and you can levitate your vape to your mouth without even touching it. That'd be me, wouldn't it? Be like, just look at my vape, just goes into my mouth like that. Levitate my beer to me like that. Yeah.
Than break on my finger before.
I understand.
I'm just concerned for my own safety. That's the long and short of it. If I get connected to Yuri, what's going to happen? Is the MRI going to explode?
Oh. Yuri? Is he referring to Yuri? This is where your boy's going to come in now. This is where I'm going to shift my fucking weight, people. This is what I'm going to do right live on air. I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to click on Yuri Geller. I've got Yuri Geller on WhatsApp, so I'm going to ask him a question right now, see if he replies. Let me take a picture of that. Send it to him. What minute did you say Yuri? 1 minute. 44 minutes, 40 seconds. At 44 minutes into this leaked audio, she mentions Yuri. Is this you? Let's see what he says, people.
I don't know. And I don't think I'm being overly dramatic. I'm just saying.
Yeah, she might have mentioned me a few times, but I probably tuned out because I've been paying attention. It's that, you know, it's hard for content creators will understand, right? It's hard when you're live streaming and trying to pay. You're not going to pay attention to the full thing. You have to rewatch it back because you're trying to keep the comments. There's people messaging you, like Foil Hats Dan. He messages me. He's messaging me. He could just comment here, but he's not. He's messaging me on here, taking advantage of my mobile number. That's what that boy is doing, right? He's absolutely raping my fucking number. So I've been distracted.
I don't know, and I'm not sure. I want to, So this is where the other thing is whatever experiment.
Yeah, it is. So I'm gonna stop the recording now. So what I'm about to end now. This is going up on YouTube, so you can watch the entire thing. So I'm going to stop the recording, but I'm going to keep the